So shell is a medium which allows you to interact with whom? Right now you have a shell, right? So using a shell, you can interact with the whole system. Let that system be operating system, let that system be your hardware. So I can interact with my hardware using a shell, I can interact with my operating system using a shell, I can basically interact, I can perform any action using a particular shell, right? Shells, they come in multiple variants. We have uninteracted shell, right? We have uninteractive shell and we have interactive shell. I can be a good doctor, guys, don't you think? My writing very much resembles it. Okay. So we have uninteractive shell and we have interactive shell. Uninteractive shell is moreover where you're not allowed to run much of a command, right? So you try to run something, shell is not very well responding to you. Yeah. You go ahead, you try to run something and shell is not very well responding to you. That is what it is, a uninteractive shell. Sounds good?
Is it because of access restriction,
It is because of,
access control issue?
okay. Now there are so many issues there, right? One is, in order to get a shell, you need lot of things, right? In order to get a shell, you need lot of things. And most of the time when we talk about interactive shells, it is how exactly that particular shell is coded in the background, right? So if your shell have been coded with lot of features, it will be an interactive shell. If your shell is not coded with lot of features, it will be an uninteractive shell. Generally, when we try or when we say that we have compromised a machine, we always end up getting a uninteractive shell. Sounds good? Does that make
Okay,
sense? Right? Perfect.
okay. So
What
is
we
there
have,
a way, Abhishek, so we can convert the uninteractive to an interactive shell? Is there any
absolutely,
way we
right?
can do that?
Yes. So we have uninteractive shell where we are not able to run much of a command, and then we have interactive shell. Now these are the shells that we really like, right? And we always target for interactive shell. So if you
Okay,
can manage to get an uninteractive shell access, we can run some commands and we can make our shell interactive. Sounds good, right? Now, when it comes to shells
okay,
in Linux, when it comes to shells in Linux, Linux have multiple shell. Very first one is a sh, right? Now, what's a sh? Sh is also known as Bourne shell, right? Sh is also known as Bourne shell. Have you guys seen the movie Jason Bourne? Bourne Identity, something like that? Yeah? No?
no,
So this is that Bourne, right? It's a Bourne shell. SH you will generally see being represented with a dollar sign, right? Another type of shell that you have is a bash. Bash is known as born again shell and it is represented with a hash, right? It is known as born again shell and it is represented with a hash. Sounds good? Whenever you see hash in Linux, this means this is a shell with maximum privileges, right? And generally, shell for root is demonstrated with the term. hash. What is root? Root is the user with maximum privilege in a Linux machine. The best you can do on a Linux based machine is get yourself a root user. Make sense, everyone?
Yeah.
Sounds good, right? Then we have another
Yes.
type of shell which is known as ZSH, right? It is known as Z shell and it is also represented with a dollar, right? This shell is an extension of SH, right? It's an extension of SH, but it is more interactive, right? The shell is more interactive. Then we have one more, which is KSH, and it is known as con shell. You will generally see this with the percentage sign, right? And then at the end, we have CSH, also known as C shell, and you will again see it with hash prompt. So since you guys know C is the base for Linux and Unix, right? Do you guys know that C programming is
Yep.
the base for Unix, right?
Yes, yes. So, Abhishek, then the seashell will also have more privilege.
Absolutely, always, right?
Mm.
But the thing is, we don't use it anymore. Yeah, we don't use a C shell anymore. You will not see it very frequently being used. So what is the shell that you will see being used? That is your ZSH. Anyone who have a Mac OS, Mac machine?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So if you open your terminal in Mac, you will see that it is also running a ZSH. Yeah.
I'm checking now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Yep.
Yeah. It is running a ZSH. How can you check that? So you go to your terminals and you type echo dollar zero and press enter, and it will give you what shell you are running on. Everyone got it?
Mm. Yeah.
So everyone running on ZSH?
Yes.
Yes. Previously, if you guys can get your hands on to any previous version of Kali, right? Not the latest one. All the latest one comes well equipped with ZSH. But let's say if I run a machine which is a pretty old one back from 2017, right? Or even if you get anything from 2019 as well, it is also following the same structure. After 2019, from 2020 onwards, they introduced ZSH. Yeah. So did I just logged in as root? Did you guys notice that? Right? So if I open my terminal, can you see a hash by default being popped up on the screen?
Yeah.
And if I type echo and $0, what shell access do I have?
Bash.
Bash.
Hash,
Bash.
right? Does that make sense? Yeah? Cool with this, everyone?
Sorry, question. So when I type that on my cloud machine, just type the echo dollar sign zero and then log out and log in again. Is that what you did? So I didn't follow.
Ah, no, not at all. So this is another machine,
Okay, okay.
right? right? So now, by default, whenever you see a hash, it's a bash. How can you check what all different shells are present? So you can type cat slash etc slash password, right? It gives you all the different users that are present in your system, and in front of every user, it will give its shell. So can you see root as a user, and can you see root have been assigned with bin slash bash? Yeah, everyone? Does that make sense?
Okay. So
Similarly,
cat etc password will give us the list of users in the system. Is that
yes,
okay?
yes, right? Now, it gives you the user here, so you can see root, daemon, bin, sys, sync, games, man, lib. These are all users, right? And all the users, what type of shell they have been assigned. Sounds good? Everyone?
Yeah, yes, Sach.
Perfect.
It's good for me.
So this is how this whole scenario looks like, right? So you should know you have born shell, you have born again shell, ZSH, con, and C shell. Sounds good? Yeah.
In our current Kali machine is the root is ZSH.
Yep. In current Kali root is ZSH. Like I told you, in new versions of Kali, they have actually switched to
Okay.
ZSH, right?
We can say the ZSH again is the cell with more privileges.
Yes. So you can increase your privilege because ZSH is a very interactive shell, right? So right now you can see I'm using ZSH and I'm being given a dollar prompt. Yeah. And if I type a very, very simple command, that is my ifconfig, right? It runs that command for me, isn't it? Right? The moment I try to run any typical command as in which might want me to be a super user, right? Or which if I run as normal user is probably not gonna work. Yeah. So what I can do, I need to switch my user, right? I need to switch my user to root. Every user that you have, you can see the permissions. You can see the permissions of user. You can type sudo hyphen L, right? When you run this command, can you see here? Can you see all these all written over here? This here very simply means that this user with the name Kali can almost run anything on this machine. Sounds good?
It's running in the root privileges.
Yes. It can run anything as root, anything as sudo, and it should be able to execute it. Sounds fair, right?
Okay.
Another thing here is you would like to escalate your privilege. You would like to get the shell. So you can type sudo su. What does su does? Sudo, first let's understand what sudo does. Sudo stands for super user do, right? Sudo stands for super user do. So what do you want super user to do? You want super user to su. Su stands for switch user. Does that make sense? Yes. So you want your sudo to switch user for yourself. So what you can do here, Sudo su and press enter. Can you see the moment you do that, you got a hash? Yeah. Always remember the whole fight, that we are gonna fight for next 60 hours, right? The whole 60-hour fight that we are gonna do is all about getting a hash, because hash means shell with maximum privilege. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, everyone?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So
So,
in Windows, the PowerShell has a similar kind of thing.
no, we'll talk about that as well. Yeah. Windows, the whole structure is different. In Linux, if you are able to get yourself, or if you are able to make yourself root user, right? That means now you can perform anything here. Make sense, right? Now you can perform anything over here. Root is like God mode for Linux. Make sense? Yeah. Root is like God mode for Linux. Sounds good? Questions? Okay. Now, since we have all that access now, right? So, and we have become root now, right? There are some basic but important commands that you guys should know how to use, you know, very smartly, right? First one is ls. So I'm very positive all of you guys know about ls command. Yes.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
Anyone who don't know about ls? Okay. So ls list things for you, right? What I'm interested is not in ls. I'm interested in what all thing ls comes with. Hyphen l gives you a list view. Can you see a list view now? Right? And the moment you go in a list view, you can see all the permissions on the left hand side here. You can see a number, how many files are in there. You can see the user to which it belongs. You can see the size, the date and time stamp, and the name of the directory, right? Sometimes there are some hidden files which you can see by typing ls-la. So you will see all of a sudden from only these many files, we now got so many results. Can you see this? Yeah. Does that make sense, everyone? So can anyone tell me how can you hide a file in Linux?
Thing dot related to that.
Absolutely, right? Whenever you want to hide a file in Linux, you put a dot in it. Sounds good? Yeah. So can you see a file dot bash underscore logout? Yeah, it's a hidden file. Can you see dot bash
Yes.
rc, all these? Anything that starts with a dot is a hidden file for Linux. Sounds good,
Okay.
everyone?
We just rename the file with dot, it can become hidden.
Absolutely,
Yeah, yes.
right? Perfect. Now, what's the plan here, right? Now plan is in terms of what can we do with it. Yeah. So what we will do, whenever you guys want to hide a file, right, you will put a dot in front of it. Or when you want to access a file which is hidden, you will use it with a dot. Yep,
Okay.
perfect.
And this dot can be removed by the only the root users.
If you see here who have access to the file,
Okay. Then only. Okay.
right? So if you are a normal user, if let's say Kali user you are, right? And if let's say this file is owned by root, yeah? If you are a normal user and if the file is owned by root, it will not allow you to do it. Let's say right now I'm a root user. Am I a root? Can you see a hash?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me create a file. Touch dot abhi.txt, right? If I do ls-l, can you see my file here? Can you? Anyone? No, right?
No.
No.
Let me create one more file. Touch abhi, not abhi. Let's say vikas.txt, ls-l. Can you see the file now?
Mm.
Right? So anything that you create with dot is a hidden file. So you type ls-la and now you will be able to see the file abhi.txt. Sounds good? Yeah. Now who is the owner of these files? Abhi.txt. Who is the owner of the file? Root. Vikas.txt. Who is the owner of the file? Root. Everyone?
Yeah.
Now I switched my user to normal user, right?
Okay.
I have now switched my user to normal user, right? Let me try and do something here. So let's say mv vikas.txt to vikas1.txt. Did it just changed it for you? Yes,
Renamed it.
renamed it, right? Nano vikas.txt. And what is it giving you? Can you see an error here in red? It is telling you file is
Read only.
read only. So if I write something, hi there, it tells me permission
Hmm.
denied. Does that make sense? Everyone?
But we are able to rename the file, right? Which are created in the
Yep,
root.
yep, because you have read permissions to it and you can change the name of the file. That is fine,
Okay.
right? But see, you're not able to write into it,
Okay, got it.
right? Second thing, you can also change permissions for a file. So right now, if you look at the file here, right, can you see that the current user only have read and write permissions, right? Can you see this read write permission in the very first section?
Yes.
Yeah, this is for the user root because the current user for this file is root. Rest everyone apart from root can only
It.
read the file. So that's why you can read it, but you cannot write anything in the file. Sounds
So
good?
first permission is going for the owner
Owner
of the file.
means
First
who
set of.
actually created the file, right? So since root did this, so root have read, write, and execute, just read, write permissions. Yeah,
And after this is showing blank. No one has a kind of read permission as well.
only
After
read. Here, see,
then
R,
next Next file, next file.
Yeah, next file, no one can even read it,
Okay.
right? But who is the owner of the file? Kali, right? Let me show you one more quick thing so that you have better visibility, right? So
No, the root also don't have a permission to change anything. Kali is just a user, right?
yes,
Not the root user.
no, now, but don't you think root is the user with more privilege than Kali?
So I'm just thinking.
And just I told you, root is like God mode for Linux. If you are root, you can do anything in Linux, literally anything. Yeah, makes sense. Now there is another command which is chmod. Chmod helps you to change the permissions, right? Chmod helps you to change the permission. So let's say I give permission 600 to vikas.txt. So what are the permission for Vikas now? Just read write for current user. Yeah, that is my Kali. Now, if I go here and if I try to cat Vikas, it tells me, what does it tell me?
No, permissions.
Permissions denied. Nano Vikas. And it tells me error reading vikas.txt. Why? Because permissions are denied. Sounds good?
Shake, sorry, I have a question. So since Vikash one text has root permission, how come he hasn't got full permission? That's I was trying to understand that. Because
Again,
you got
again.
the permission. So remember you mentioned that root is I got permission, right? So how come Vikas one dot text has only read write? It doesn't have full permission when it's the root.
Yeah. So right now, am I root?
No, no, you're not root. That's why. Oh, okay, that's why. Because you're not root. That's why. I see.
Right now, I'm
Okay,
the user with the name
got it. Okay.
Kali.
Okay, so if you were root, then you'll have permission. I see, because you're on the dollar sign. If you had the,
Absolutely.
okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Any more?
Just now you were on hash. How you move to dollar?
You can simply type exit.
Exactly. Okay.
Don't type it twice, just type it once. It will
Okay.
get you from your hash to dollar,
Okay.
right?
And going back, then sudo soup.
Yeah. Sounds good, everyone? In Linux, you just saw me writing a command chmod, right? You just saw me writing a command chmod and I wrote 600. I told you guys to ask me questions. Do you guys know what this 600 means?
600 means read write.
And how did you
Please.
decided that?
Because you gave permission, it came read write.
Yes.
I seen so
Read,
many people writing 777, so I guessed like
yes. Read is number 4, right?
uh, uh,
Write is number 2 and execute is number
uh,
1. If you add all of them, what it becomes?
7.
Now can you tell me what permission 777 will mean?
Is every execute, read, write.
Yes.
Everyone
So
can see
you see
and
over
write.
here, right? There are 3 permissions, RWX, R-X, R-X. So it was like this, RWX, R-X, and again R-X. This RWX, it is 7. RX, what it is? If you add R and X, it will become
5.
5. Again, R and X, it will become 5. So what if I want to give this permission? What should I write? I should write ch mod 755 and the file name, whatever the file name is. Let's say folder videos. Sounds good?
So, Abhishek, the first one is showing the owner, right?
Yes.
The
First one
second above,
generally tells you about the user, right? The current user. And current user is the one who have created the file.
is owner is the same as owner.
Yes, same as the
Okay.
owner, right? So this one generally point towards current user, and that current user is the one who created the file, and that will be also your file owner. Sounds good?
Okay. And rest of the two,
Yes. Another one is for groups, and another one is for others.
group means here.
Group means in Linux, you can define groups, right? Let's say there is a group with the name sudoers. Sudoers contain all the user who have privilege to run things as sudo, as super user. Yeah, let me show you an example. So I just created a user on this machine, right? And that user is with the name ASDF. Can you see? If I type who am I, it tells me command not found. If I type if config, it tells me command not found. If I type sudo su, it asks me for a password. When I do that, it tells me ASDF is not in the sudoers file. Can you see this?
It is showing root actually, so it's not a root permission that
Now,
user.
you are inside the root directory. What prompt you are getting?
Yeah,
Prompt is
dollar. So we are not actual the root. We are inside the directory.
you are inside root directory, but you are not the root user. You cannot
Okay.
literally do anything. You know that. So if I go ahead and type ls, and let's say there is a file cat test.txt, it is giving you the file nano test. Let's see if you can do this. See, test file is unwritable. Does that make sense? So there is something with the name sudoers. Sudoers is a file. It's a group of people who are allowed to run things as sudo, super user. Sounds good, everyone? Does that make sense?
So this group is for the users, or this group is for that like where this file belongs to, or
Now you can create
you
groups. You can create different groups in Linux.
okay, this group is of users only, like how we have in Windows.
Yeah. Yep. So I can create a group with the name testers and I can add all of you in there and then I can give you guys permission to access it. More than okay.
And then this group decides based on the first three like current user. So
Yeah.
part of the current user is the same group, right? Which
Yeah.
group? Am I right? Like, am I making some sense what I'm
Yeah,
asking?
yeah, definitely. Why not?
Okay,
So right
so
now I have not created one, but I can create a group with the name testers, right? And
oh,
I can add all of you in there, right? And then I can give you permissions. So any group in this machine, what they will be able to do, they will be able to read and write. Sounds good?
okay, okay. And you created one group again, say programmers.
Yeah. Then
Okay.
again, that will also have read and write permissions. Every group
So
will be getting this permissions.
okay, when whatever you are mentioning for group means for any group in the whole system.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Perfect. So this is a bit about the permission section that you see over here. Sounds fair?
Other means, yeah, other means the rest of the
Other users. There
others.
will be some users who are not in the group, neither they
Okay,
are sudo, right?
okay, okay.
But do remember this. This is very important. Read 4, write 2, execute 1. Wanna give all the permission, it becomes 7. Sounds fair?
Okay.
Naveen, tell me you're not getting bored.
No, no,
I know you already know this stuff.
no.
Getting anything new? I doubt that.
Uh, no. I know these things.
Awesome. Great. So you might want to bear with me for a few more minutes, few more things, yeah? Perfect. Right now, this is about different permissions that we have been giving to users. Yeah? Sounds good to everyone? Cool. Next thing that we have is we can also change the owner of the file. And you can do that with the help of chown. Change owner, right? Chown. The current owner for the file Vikas is root, right? If I type Kali colon Kali vikas1.txt, who is the owner of the file Vikas now? Kali?
Kali.
Everyone? Yeah? And previously, who was the owner? Root? Does that make sense?
Why you wrote Kali colon Kali?
Can you see there are, it says root colon, sorry, it says root,
Yeah.
right? So I gave owner of the file is gonna be Kali Kali, right? What if I do chown Kali and root? What is now?
They have partnership in owning them.
Let's see that. So if I type exit, now am I the user with the name Kali? If I cat Vikas 1, does it give you permission denied?
No.
No. If I type nano, what does it tell you?
Do whatever you like to do. Edit.
Were you able to add data into it?
Yes.
Why?
Because there is read and write.
Absolutely. For these two users, root as well as Kali, they are both owner of this file now. Cool with this?
So means why we are having Kali Kali like? Or what about if you are third owner?
Yep. Now, if you are the owner of a file, would you really like to make someone else owner of it? Because when you make owner, they will have full privileges. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And we have not given the execute permission. The same is carry forward here.
Yes.
If
But
given earlier execute, then
yeah, but
execute will
now the
carry.
cool thing is since Kali have become the owner of the file, right? So if I type chmod 100, what does one stand for?
For the owner of the file.
No,
Only execute.
only execute permission. If I type ls-l, what permission does this file have now?
execute only. You cannot read write. Cat should not work.
Cat should not work. Shall I go ahead and try it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
It tells you.
Yes. Expected.
Sounds good, everyone?
Okay, writing Kali colon root and writing root colon Kali. Is
Uh,
there any difference?
no. Ch
No.
mod root colon Kali.
No, honor.
Okay,
Con. CH1.
thank you for that. What does it say?
Yeah. Oh, okay. The root Kali changing ownership of a person operation not permitted. This
Can
is
Kali, as a user with less privilege, can he decide what root should do?
probably not.
Means it is very similar to, would you like your son to decide which career option you should choose? Yeah. Would you make your kids decide what career option you should choose? Do you think they're wise
Yeah.
enough to make the call?
Yeah. No. They are not wise enough, but they force you.
That's that's a different story. Yeah. But the thing here is, okay, I think I picked the wrong example. But the thing here is, it's about a normal user cannot define what root should do. If I, on the contrary, if I do sudo su, and if I now run ch own, what was it? Root
Root
colon
column.
Kali. Does it allow you to do so?
Yeah. That's makes sense also.
Yeah. And now if I type exit, and if I again type to run the command, it still tells me operation not permitted. So swiping those permission does not really mean anything.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. Sounds good.
Everyone cool with this?
Yes, sir.
Oh, see, this is why I told you don't type exit twice. Right. Right. Now, there are a few more commands that you guys should really have very much handy. Very first one is who am I? It tells you the current user. Second command is ID. It gives you the user ID, right? Generally for Linux, right? Generally for Linux, you will always see a user ID 0 for root. That means root will always have a user ID what? 0. Always remember it. Root in Linux always have a user ID 0, and administrator in Windows will always have a user ID of 500. Sounds good, everyone?
Administrator is a default user in Linux now.
No, this is about Windows,
Okay. Okay.
and this one is about Linux. Sounds good?
So it means that maybe in some logs we will see that something is done by UID 0. So it means that it's Linux and it is done by the root.
It's root. Absolutely. Sounds good. Second thing is, or another command is pwd. Pwd gives you your present working directory. So right now you are inside which directory? Slash home slash Kali. Yeah, everyone? Sounds good,
Mm.
right? So this is your current working directory. Another command is uname hyphen a. What do you get from uname hyphen a?
Kernel version. Okay.
Absolutely. Uname hyphen a gives you Linux kernel version. Why do you need kernel version? When you might have studied before any other course before this in terms of hacking, do you guys or have you guys heard of CVE?
Cumulative vulnerability.
Exposure.
Yes.
Right? It stands for Common Vulnerability Exposure, and this website gives you all the well known vulnerabilities. Yeah, does that make sense? Right? So once you know the exact kernel version, which is 5.10.46, can you now go to CVE and can you research about any exploits with respect to this particular version? How
It's
difficult
a
it
task.
is? Sorry,
Like you want to do us means
you can do it. More than welcome. Go ahead. Go to Google, type Linux 5.10.46 space CVE. Go ahead, look for it.
okay. There are so many.
There are so many. There you go. Does that make sense, everyone?
Mm.
Yes, Abhishek.
At least got the basic idea now?
Yes.
Yes. Perfect. So this is what gives you your kernel version. Yeah. Any questions, concerns, queries, scream of angst?
No,
Perfect.
I'm good.
Guys, I'm a very good interpreter. So as long as you stay quiet, I will think I am an awesome trainer and you guys are understanding everything that I say. Yeah. Okay. Now, so this is some basic commands that you run. How you create a file in Linux, you create it with the help of touch command. Touch helps you to create a file. Then you have some text editors. You have mousepad. So Vikas 1.txt. Can you see a text editor got opened for me? This is a GUI one.
Mm.
Yeah, a GUI based text editor got opened for me. Sounds good.
Mm.
The problem is when you compromise machines, right? When you hack into machines, do you get GUI access to those machines?
Not really.
Odds are not even 1 in a million, right? You don't get GUI access to machines, you get CLI access. So do you think this is gonna work?
No.
No. So this is something which is not really gonna work anytime. So now let's say this is another machine that I had, and my current user is root, right? If I type nano vikas.txt, can you see it is giving me an error? Directory is not writable.
Yep. Um,
Yeah, that means I cannot even create a file. Touch vikas.txt. It tells me permission denied. There is always a directory which is temp. Can you see here? cd temp,
Mm.
right? This is a directory where every user in Linux have like full permissions. Whatever they want to do, they can go ahead and do it, right? So if I type touch vikas.txt, I'm sorry, Vikas, you're the victim.
no.
Can you see the file got created? Yeah. If I do nano vikas.txt, you can write anything here. You can cat vikas.txt. Everything is working fine here. Sounds good? Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. In case you guys get a shell or you guys get a connection where you are not at all able to run or create a file, very first thing that you will do is get inside which directory?
Temp one.
Temp directory, right? There will be some cases where you will not even be able to write nano. What is nano? Nano is a command line based editor, right? There is one more which is vi, there is one more which is vim, right? If you get an uninteractive shell, you won't be able to run any of these commands. None of these commands will work for you. What then? Then you make use of echo command. What does echo does? Whatever you write, it echoes that for you. Sounds good?
Okay.
Yeah. So
You
you
can echo into
echo
file.
and then you put a greater than sign, right? When you put one greater than sign, it will override the file. What is the current content of vikas.txt?
Hi there.
Yeah.
What is the content of vikas.txt now?
Changed. Hi, this is it. So,
Can you see previous
Or
content got
overwritten.
overwritten, right?
Yes.
On the same, if you write this, right? And this time, if you put two greater than sign, what does it mean? It means now you don't want to overwrite the file, but you want to append it, add something to it. Sounds good?
Mm.
Yes, Abhishek.
Yeah. So now you know, even if you don't have any text editor, you can actually write into a file. Everyone, cool with this?
Yes.
Guys,
Abhishek,
do
so
you?
is that with the two double greater signs? Is that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
If you can explain what's the difference between single and a double again?
sure. Why not?
Thank you.
Now, single greater than sign means overwrite. Whatever the content is there in vikas.txt, everything will be removed and it will write this into it. Yeah. Double greater than sign means append. Append means add in file. Yeah, it will add in file like I added I like trolling. So you can see there, hi, this is Vikas, I like trolling. Can you see both are in there?
Okay, got
Makes
it.
sense now?
Yep, thank you.
Perfect. Uh, do you guys have few extra minutes? If we extend a bit,
Yeah.
everyone fine with that?
Yes.
Perfect. No one is there with the feeling who want to sue me for it? Perfect. We'll extend a bit. Yeah, right. Now, you have seen some bit of commands flowing here and there, right? Now, there are few more things that you guys should be aware of, right? So, talking bit more into it, you should know how to make good use of commands, right? There is one command which goes by with the name locate. What locate does, it try to find out a file for you, right? It can find out a lot of things for you. So let's say if I type locate nmap slash scripts, didn't actually got an output for it. Okay, odds are my cache is not built properly for locate. Any which
Script
ways?
script spelling.
Ah, there you go. And now it brought up all the different nmap scripts for me, right? Sometimes you might not get a output. That does not mean command is not working. Sometimes locate command needs a cache for itself to be built before it can run, right? So if it does not run, please don't panic. It will build a cache for itself, right? So locate can find things for you, but generally you will not find the locate command everywhere, and that's the bad luck, right? That you will not find locate command everywhere. So what we do, then we use the find command. Find, right? Slash. What does slash represent in Linux?
Root.
No.
Right.
Slash root
Home directory.
represent root.
Location, root
Before
location.
going back.
Yes. Slash represent the file system, right? So if I go ahead and I type cd slash just slash, can you see everything is here? Root is here if, as well. Can you see here? Root is also inside slash. So slash is the file system. Like we have C drive in Windows, or sorry, we have this PC in Windows, right? Isn't it? So this PC represent everything that you have on that particular system. Similarly, slash in Linux represent everything that you have in this particular system. Sounds good? Everyone?
Okay.
Perfect. So when you formulate your find command, you go with find slash, right? Hyphen type. So what we would like to look, we would like to look for file. Hyphen type equals F. Hyphen permissions. So I'm looking for permissions, which is let's say 777. Hmm? Sounds good? If I press enter, what it will try to do? It will try to look for all the files which have permissions what? 777 for me. Can you see that?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Is that making any sense? right? So we will be making a very frequent use of find command, and you will be learning a lot of different syntaxes with file command throughout this training. Yeah.
So
Another,
this find command looks for the content of file or name of the file or the properties of the file.
you can do anything with file command, find command. You can look for the name of the file, the content of the file, the permissions of the file. You can literally look for anything with find command.
Okay, and locate
Locate, generally you go for the files.
files means the name of the file.
Yeah, the name of the files. Sounds good?
Yep.
And we get it everywhere, almost in all Linux kernels. We get it.
Yeah, so generally, the reason I'm not giving you more in depth into locate is because there can be some distros of Linux where there won't be a locate command,
Mhm. Okay.
right? But fine,
Okay.
it is global everywhere.
This command was giving permission denied. What does mean there?
Permission denied means you don't have privileges to look into those files.
But we are in the root, right?
Yes, you're in the root. Still, if you look at the files, there are some, crazy files. Something inside fdisk info, something inside gvfs. We will talk about that as well later.
Can you just give one more example of this find command? Run this.
Yeah, remove permission and just look for files. You will see tons of files are there in your Linux. Yeah, can you see that?
Okay. Okay. I'm writing hyphen type. So I'm selecting files, whatever
File.
on the file.
Yes. So the moment you write hyphen t equals to f, you're selecting file, you write d. Now it is looking for directories. Make sense?
Makes sense. Yes.
So far so good? Perfect. Another command which is gonna come in very much handy is cut command, right? Now, you remember I told you where all the users are present in Linux?
etc password.
ETCPW.
Slash etc
Password.
password. What if I want you guys to just segregate users from this output? How can you do that?
Users.
Just the usernames. When you write this command, you should only see usernames and not all this extra bit of details.
You mean like the first before the
Just
colon?
the first section before the colon. Now this is the time where you make use of cut command. Before cut, understand what is pipe. The symbol that I've just drawn is known as a pipe. Pipe means output of my first command is gonna act input for my second command. Sounds good? So what is the output of cat etc password? This whole that you're seeing on the screen right now. Yes, everyone? Now I want to take this as an input and I want to use cut hyphen d. With d you specify the delimiter. Delimiter means something using which you want to separate things. We also call it as separator. So can I use colon as a separator?
Yes.
Right? Then hyphen f is for field. Can you say usernames? All the usernames are present in the first field.
Field 0, maybe.
Is it 0 or is it 1?
I'm not sure. Just guessing wild 0.
It will be 1,
Okay.
right? Now when I press enter, can you only see the usernames?
Yes.
Yes. If I type
Okay.
0, it tells you fields are numbered from 1. Can you see that?
Okay.
Everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If I type
In this,
2, you will see all the X. If I type 3, you will see all the numbers. If I type 4, see, can you see that? This is how you can check the values for different fields. Now, since you have this, can I do something like this? Yeah. What it will do, it will create a file with the name user.txt which contain all the users present on your Linux. Sounds good, everyone?
Yes.
Perfect. Any questions? Any questions?
can I rearrange the output while it is coming with somehow like it was all jumbled up in password, so it can come in an order, proper order. You got me what I want to see?
Put a pipe and write sort hyphen u. Can you see? Now it is arranged alphabetically. W is at
Okay.
the bottom and
Okay. What I was saying, like all these fields, they have some gap and they are arranged so I can see for which user, what is the value and all.
which one again?
Can you run this password without cut?
There you go.
Okay. So that X comes below X and then X and all the numbers in one and they are in column wise.
No, no, no.
No, no. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, leave it.
Because some fields will have a greater value, some field will have a small number of characters. So that's why it is showing you like this. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
perfect. But
Okay.
you got the basic idea here, what we are
Yes,
trying to
yes,
do?
yes.
Everyone? Sounds good. Any questions? Anyone? Perfect. So I think I'm gonna pause the session here for the day.